Hi, welcome to Chat and Craft with Lorraine. I'm Lorraine Tierney. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Warner, New Hampshire, but these days I am living in Massachusetts most of the time, so my business is a little bit all over the place. I'm here today to show you this fractured layout that we're going to make. And I'm so happy that you're going to join me today. I hope it's a sunny day where you are. It's beautiful here. And I hope to get outside after I get this done. And I hope you will too. If you're watching this live, please say hello. I love to know who's watching with me. And I love to ask for some input if there's people watching. And if you're watching the replay, I'd love it also if you tell me that and I can say hello. Of course, if you like and share this video, it helps spread this layout and this information to other people, and I always appreciate that too. Thanks so much. So let's get started. This is a card that I've used dies to create, but if you don't have a die cutting machine, I will give you some measurements at the end of squares you can cut with your paper trimmer, and then you won't need to use a die cutting machine. So if I forget, remind me that at the end. Hi MJ, I'm glad you're here. So this is one that I made with the Irresistible Blooms bundle. I have some glare on there. Let me see if I can move that off a little bit. I still get some glare. This is an online exclusive, so you won't find this or the paper and the dies that coordinate with this in the catalog. You have to go on the website, and on the left-hand side, you can click on Shop Products and then go to Online Exclusives. And there's quite a few things on there that you won't find in a catalog, and it changes all the time. Things come in and go out of stock, so check it out every so often. I think you'll be glad that you do. So here's the card. I think it's pretty cool, and I love the different pieces that you get. And once again, it's always easier than it looks once you know the secret. So let's get started. So I'm using Petal Pink for this. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And then I have two matte size pieces. These are both 4 by 5 1/4. One is Petal Pink, and one is from the Inked Botanicals 6 by 6 pack of paper. It's really pretty paper. So that's what we're going to start with. That's all we need right now. And like I said, I am using the Stylish Shape dies, and I'm going to use the 3 from the middle. Okay, not the smallest, not the largest, but the other 3. I've already cut my white one out with the second smallest one. And now we're going to use these other 2. So the first thing we're going to do is take our piece of paper that we want on the top, on the front. I'm going to take that piece of paper and I'm going to cut the biggest of the 3 squares. It's actually the second largest square out of the front of that. I'm going to try to bring my cut and emboss machine up here and do this on here, especially for the next step. And hopefully it won't shake too much. We'll see. Hi, Jan. Are you watching from the grocery store? I got a message from my sister that she might not be able to watch because she's getting ready to do some stuff, but whoops, here she is. Okay, I'm trying to do this without shaking, and I don't know if it's going to work. So I have the second largest Stylish Shapes square die in there. It's the largest one that I'm going to use. Okay. So now I'm taking that out, and I have my petal pink mat that's the exact same size, and I'm putting that under the square that I just cut out. And now I have the next size smaller die, so this is the third largest, and I'm going to place it right in here, making sure my paper is lined up and making sure this is straight and centered. Then I'll take this off and gently put my plate down. Hope that everything stays in place. And I can't turn that backwards with my left hand. Sorry, I'm not coordinated enough. Now I'm putting this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay. And that's all we'll need with that. So save this little square for something else. And now we have these two pieces, and we have that lovely border right there. So I always use the corner of my trimmer to line things up. Make sure you can see that. Okay, and so I'm going to glue these two together. I'm not going to go too close to that inside because I don't want any glue to squirt out of there. And then make sure that these are lined up. Okay. Now, on this one, you can see that I have the same patterned paper behind that. I cut, and that's done by using this square that we just cut out. You can put that back in, but I wondered what it would look like with a different pattern on there. So I cut out another one. And then this is going to eventually have two more layers on it. We'll have the white, and I'm debating whether to use gray and then the white, that's basic gray, or stick with Calypso Coral and then the white. So you let me know what you think. What do you think? Should I go with the contrasting pattern there? I mean, I could do any, or the same. I think I'm going to stick with the same. Let me know if you would have gone with a different one. I'm going to go matchy-matchy. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue to hold that in place. This is how I get glue on my trimmer, because I do stuff like this. There we go. Okay. So now I'm ready to start fracturing my card. And the best part is that it's not done by cutting this. It's done with strips of paper. And these strips of paper fool your eye a little bit. Oh, good, MJ. I'm glad you like the matching center. I think I need a new blade on my trimmer. Can you see that's a little raggedy? So these are 3/16. So I whacked my water bottle. This is 1/4 here. This first line that sticks down on your trimmer, that's 1/4 if I had it to that line. But I did these to, this one is too big. This is not one that I cut, to 3/16. I'm going to flip this over. Okay, so The quarter is on the other side here, but if I put this where I would cut it, you can see I'm one line to the right of that 1/4 inch line. So 3/16 is the size you want your strips. And what we're going to do is glue these strips right in here. Now the secret is you don't want to push this all the way up to the corner. You see, now I have it in the corner. I'm only going to put it right to that, to where the two sides meet, so that when I put the next one in, I can put that one up. Well, it will go like this. It will go around this way. You have to make sure you go in the right direction. Okay, like this. I just pushed that into the corner. I want to see what happens. Yeah, so that's too far. So you just put it to where that corner starts, and you keep going around, and then this one can come all the way off, because you want to be able to come off one side of your strips. You don't want your strip to end in that square. Okay, so we'll go, as long as you go around the circle, it will work out. So I'm going to put some glue on about this much of that. Okay, and then I'm going to press it right in there. And I'm going to put my silicone mat underneath so I don't glue myself to my grid paper. Okay, now I need the next one to go right down here. That one seemed a little bit skinny, that strip, and some of these spaces, you know, they're not exact. They might be skinnier than others, so just move it around a little till you find a good fit for your strips. I didn't go far enough on that one. There we go. MJ, the strips are about, I don't know, let me measure them, because I could tell you a measurement and I'd be guessing. Oh, I used about a 5.5. Yeah, they're about 5.5 inches long. Okay, so now this one is going to go here. I have some fuzzies on that. I don't like the fuzzies, so just tuck the fuzzies towards the back if you get some fuzzies. It's time to replace my blade. I have a whole inventory of them, but I never think of it till I start to see messy stuff. Okay, now this one goes in next. And we have one more to do, and this one will be able to come off the end. So remember, when you start, you don't go into the corner. You'll finish that corner off with the last one. I'm going to work on a blog post that will have all these measurements in it. So if you're not getting them today, sometime this week, there'll be a blog post out. Okay, so once those are all on, you're going to just flip it over and snip those off right even with your mat. There you go. Okay, so there is our fractured front, and then when we put it on the same color card base, it really looks great. I didn't trim this one quite close enough. It was hanging over a smidge. So it still looks to me like it's hanging over a smidge. Oh, maybe it's because it's not glued down well. Can I squeeze some glue down there? There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to glue this onto my card base. It's a little bit thick because it has 2 mats plus those strips. So you could use tear and tape to put it down, or Seal Plus. I'm going to have to use my little adhesive eraser right there. Let me grab that. There we go. And then, like I showed you, oh, I've lost them. Oh yeah, I have my white square, and I could put it on just like that, but I'm thinking I want to mat it a second time. So I'm going to use basic gray ink for my sentiment. I feel like the Calypso Coral mat gets lost. You can see here I didn't use white for my square, so I used white there. Does remind me of Pinwheel also, MJ. You are right. I think I'm going to do a little bit of the basic gray. But first I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I forgot a block, excuse me. I'm going to use this Wildlife Wonder set and use this Note of Thanks that I love. And if there's room, I might do this little flower next to it. We'll see. So I'm going to put my block on my grid paper and then try to line the top of my words evenly on it. I'm having a little bit of trouble because I don't want to stick my head into the camera. Okay, and this is going to go diagonal. So again, on my grid paper, I'm going to make sure both points are lined up on the grid paper evenly. Let me go up here and do that. Okay, they're both, the points are on the same line of the grid paper so that I know that's even. Hi, Courtney. You are allowed to go back and watch from the start. I think you'll like this. Okay. So there's my basic gray. A note of thanks. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to put the little leaf on it. I'm going to leave it just like this. And this little square is about 1.5 by 1.5. So I'm going to cut the basic gray at, I just want 1/8 of an inch border. So I'm going to do 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. Let's see if I did that right. There you go. Yeah, so just a little border around that. Little liquid glue. Put that on. Trying to get it as centered as I can. And now I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals right in there. What do you think? Do you like the basic gray? A little contrast? I think a little contrast can be good. Let me know, would you have used the Calypso coral or do you like the basic gray? Okay. Get that right in there. And then I have to apologize, I did not look. I'm not sure these polished dots are still current, but it's really hard to use up all your bling while it's still current. So I'm using it anyway. I wonder if I should use the, doesn't really make a difference if I use the colored ones. They're, maybe the colored one picks up just a little more color from the paper behind it. I like it. I like it a little bit darker. I'm just going to put, oh, that's not where I want it. 3 of these right in a row. Right there. So there you go. There's my fractured layout with the inked botanicals and then again with the irresistible blooms. Do you like the gray, MJ, because it makes it pop? Yeah, I think that's what I like too. So let me show you, if you don't have the stylish shape dies to cut the squares for you. Oh, that was Courtney that said she likes it when the mat makes the sentiment pop. Yes. You can cut the squares yourself. So this one, the smallest one is 1.5 by 1.5, and then 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. And then this one, I forget what I did. Let's check it. This one is 2 by 2, and you'll see why it's a little bigger in a minute. And I'm using different DSP here than what's on the card because otherwise it'll all blend in and you won't be able to see it. And the biggest one is 2.5 by 2.5. So you would put your biggest one down, 2.5 by 2.5. I better check that. Yeah. You would put this down. Then you would put your 2 by 2 inside it. Now you have to cut your strips a little bit wider, closer. That's why I have this one to show you, closer to 1/4 of an inch. And you would put your strips around it like this. And then this one, and then the next one, and then the last one. Okay, and then do the same thing with your sentiment and whatever right in the center. So you could use whatever, you could use just plain old white for this big one because as you see, it gets totally covered up. All right, so that's the how you would do that. And I'll put, the blog post will have all of the square measurements too, but 2.5, 2, 1 5/8, 1.5 for the thing. MJ, gray tinted bling would have been great, except I didn't have any. And I didn't have a chance to think about coloring them. There are some classic matte dots that have gray bling in them, I think, but I have used mine all up in that color. Okay, so I hope that you will give this layout a try, this fractured layout. and let me know. I'd love to see it, and if you have any questions, I'd love to help you. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. If you need a catalog, I'd be happy to send you a catalog. Um, Stampin' Up!, making cards, sending cards, meeting people through Stampin' Up!, it all brings me so much joy, and I'd love to share that joy with you too. So have a great Sunday afternoon and take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye.